KCET champions. I hope all of you are doing great and I welcome you all to Masterstroke series. But today we are going to deal with the chapter Reproductive Health, and this chapter is not just important for your marks but also it's a topic, and I do not understand why it's a topic like that. Not everyone feels very comfortable talking about it, but I feel it's something that you need to know. So there are a lot of things that might be new to you, there are a lot of things that you might already know, but anyway I'm pretty sure you'll get some bit of information from this video. So make sure you watch it completely and be there for the live of this chapter's KCET questions that would be done on Wednesday 6 p.m. Okay, now if at all you are a PU2 champion and if you're just looking for PU2 questions, I have recorded it in PU2 Brahmastra. The video is also there, go watch it. Okay, if at all you want, you can ask us to put down the links. We can provide you the link here in the comment section. Yeah, and make sure you solve all the homework questions. Only 2 will be there. Solve it. Okay, chalo. So the first thing that I have over here is 1968. What do you think? What happened in 1968? So in 1968, my dear children, in India, we got an ad in the television. Okay, there was an advertisement in the television, after which everyone was like, "Oh my God, what is it showing up there in the TV?" So the ad was of condom. And the name of the condom was Dulux Nirodh condom, and here it is clearly written, used condom to prevent pregnancy, sexually transmitted diseases and HIV/AIDS. Now this was for 25 paise. Now this was being put up in the television. Why was it put? So that people got an awareness that yes, there were some diseases that were getting transmitted sexually, and also you need to be safe for that. And also they were seeing one very important thing, that is the population size was increasing. So to control all of it, okay, to have that under check, they gave the advertisement for Nirodh, because that at that time TV was something that was super popular. Everyone used to watch TV. Okay. So yes, so this was the mode of awareness, and with this interesting fact, let's get into the chapter and let's talk about the reproductive health care in India. You saw the first step, right? Similarly, there were other steps also being taken. So it was the first country to take action plans and programs at a national level, okay, to attain total reproductive health as a social goal. So for India, it was reproductive health was actually a social goal, and it was the first country to basically go ahead and create a lot of plans up there. And the first planning came in the form of family planning. It came in the year 1951. This year is important. So family planning was introduced in which year? 1951. What do you mean by family planning? That basically people know that you should not be having so many amount of offsprings, otherwise you would not be able to take care of them, right? So family planning was introduced in 1951, and later on more programs were evolved, and one such program which was evolved was Reproductive and Child Health Care Program. Reproductive and Child Health Care Program. So if at all, dear children, if at all you're asked about the abbreviation of this, it is RCH, and most of us get it wrong. Reproductive and Child Health Care Program. Sometimes we go ahead with this, RCHC. Please make sure in KCET examination, if at all you're getting an option like this, it's not correct. The answer is just RCH, Reproductive and Child Health Care. So health care is not two separate words out there, right? So this was an extended thing that India had, and what was the mission for this, introducing this particular thing? To provide facilities and support for building up a reproductively healthy society. But you might think, how can you create a reproductively healthy society? So for that, there were certain steps. First one was awareness and education. So why do you think this chapter was included in NCERT? For creating awareness, right? Similarly, awareness through media, through schools, through parents, through teachers, and also through social group was the main aim. Sex education in schools to dispel the myths and misconceptions, information on reproductive organs, adolescents, STDs, AIDS and safe sexual practices, all of it was given. So sex education is the first thing. It was given in the school, and also not in the school, people go to villages and explain about all the things out there, right? Apart from that, educate the fertile couples and the youth of marriageable age. So apart from the sex education given in the schools and villages, obviously you have to target the people who can in future undergo sexual intercourse and bring babies into this world. Okay, so basically educate fertile couples and also youth of marriageable group. That means you are not of that. I know you want to marry as of now, but no. Okay, you have to wait for some time. So my dear children, there are people who are in that particular age group. So all of them were given some some understanding of certain things such as birth control option, awareness about what all options are present in India to control the birth. Okay, next thing, care during and after pregnancy. So not so many people are aware about how do you need to take care of a woman who is pregnant, and also after pregnancy what has to be done. So this information was passed to people. And also importance of breastfeeding. So sometimes people, they refrain from breastfeeding after a point of time. So importance of breastfeeding is that you have studied in the chapter that basically the first milk of the mother has what? So many antibiotics, not antibiotics, it's antibodies, okay, antibodies. And when you pass these antibodies, basically you're passing immunity to the child. So obviously breastfeeding is also super important. Now next thing, postnatal care for the mother and the child. So you might have seen in villages and all, they do not know once a baby is being born, how it has to be treated, or basically how a mother has to be treated. So there are certain things that has to be followed. Those were things that were included over here. And also promoting gender equality. Now this is something that is still seen in India. We are in 2026 and people still prefer boys over girls or girls over boys. So it should not be something like that. All the gender which is there, everything is equal. So promoting gender equality is also super important. So all of this were covered over here. So my dear, sex education was covered. Apart from that, educating the fertile couples and also the people in marriageable age group. This was also done under awareness and education. And also raise awareness about one more very important thing, that what will happen if at all so many offsprings are going to be produced. There will be uncontrollable population growth, and this will lead to what? Dishum for the resources. We all have rice, wheat, or whatever food that you have. If at all there are so many people, do you think we would be able to afford it? No. So awareness was created for uncontrolled population growth also, and also for sexual abuse and sex related crimes. That if you might have had that in your school you have been taught about bad touch, good touch and everything, right? So awareness about all of it will be included over here. Done. So this was the first step. Apart from that, are there some other steps being taken to create a reproductively healthy society? Yes. To increase the medical facilities and also assistance. Now government is saying that you should be taking care of the mother and the child, but also it should be providing what? The facilities for that. So in the form of what? Hospitals. So strong infrastructure as in strong hospitals out there, professional expertise as in good doctors and as well as nurses, and material support for reproductive health. So there might be some free things that should be given to the society for people who cannot afford it as well. So all of it come under that. Apart from it, medical care for pregnancy, childbirth, STDs, infertility, contraception, menstrual disorder, abortion, all of it. Okay, medical care for all of this thing, whether it's pregnancy, whether it's abortion, whether it's childbirth, whether it's infertility, all of it had to be taken care of. And now one very important thing was also being done, and that is super important. A ban on amniocentesis. A statutory ban on amniocentesis. This also comes under medical facilities and assistance. So why was amniocentesis being banned? So was ban on amniocentesis also a part of this big plan? The answer is yes. And why was it banned? You should know that. So suppose this is the baby. Okay, this baby that you have, my dear children, is inside a sac which you call as amniotic sac. You call this as amniotic sac. And over here, there is a fluid which is known as amniotic fluid. What do you have? You call this as amniotic fluid. Now listen to me carefully. This amniotic fluid which is there, my dear children, it will be having certain cells of this baby, because the fetus, while it is being formed, some cells are going to be shed off into this amniotic fluid. Now suppose some doctor basically takes this fluid. With the fluid, what will he or she will be getting? He or she will also be getting the cell. Inside the cell, what do you have? You have the nucleus. Inside the nucleus, what do you have? You have the genetic material. So basically, the actual use of amniocentesis was to take this fluid out and get to understand if at all the child is having some genetic disorders, some disorders which is being passed from the mother to the child. For example, or the parents to the child. For example, you have hemophilia, you have sickle cell anemia, you have Down syndrome. There are so many genetic disorders which are there. So the role was to find if at all a child is having some genetic disorders. But you know what we human beings did? We are crooked little people out there. So we went ahead we got to know the genetic nature, right? And with that, people started to identify the sex of the child. And when it was found that the sex of the child is female, they started killing the child. This is known as female feticide. Female feticide. Now you think, it was brought to this world for a very, very important function, that is to find genetic disorders. Now people made really bad use of it, such that there was a ban being put on amniocentesis in our country, in India, and in certain other countries also, but majorly in India. Okay, so started a ban on amniocentesis to prevent female feticide. Actual use is what? To test the presence of certain genetic disorders such as Down syndrome, hemophilia, sickle cell anemia, etc. Please remember, if at all you're asked, can you find jaundice with the help of amniocentesis? No, jaundice is not a genetic disorder. Okay, only the genetic disorders which are there can be found with the help of this. Now, so this is the thing. And why was it banned? It was banned because of female feticide. Always remember, you get so many questions around amniocentesis. This is a very important topic. Okay, both for your PU2 as well as for your KCET. Now, massive child immunization to reduce the maternal and infant mortality rates. This was also given under medical facilities, as in basically you might have seen babies get vaccination, right? So these vaccinations were also being provided to the newborns. Why? So that the infant mortality rate and everything, infant mortality rate, as in the death rate of infant, mortality means death rate of the infants, could go down. That was also being done under medical facilities and assistance. So first one was awareness. Second thing is to provide facilities and assistance. And there you have amniocentesis. After that, so over here I have a video for amniocentesis. This has been taken from Nucleus Media Art. So if at all, so this is just put for awareness. So I'll be trying to show you up this particular video.
Watching the ultrasound monitor to...
Yeah. So over here, with the help of the ultrasound, you get to understand the position of the fetus, and then with respect to that, you take an injection or a syringe and take up the fluid out there. Okay, so over here you can clearly see it has been injected, and now you're taking up the fluid, which is the amniotic fluid, and inside that you would be having the cells. This is how it goes. Okay, so yeah, it's a wonderful video. If you want, you can go check it out in their own site out there. Yeah. Now, there is a homework question that I have for you, and every one of you who have watched until this particular point, please make sure you go ahead and try to attempt it. Okay? Amniocentesis is a process to grow cell on culture medium, determine any disease of heart, determine the sex of the fetus, know about the disease of the brain. Read this question properly. This is a 2022 question, very recent question out there, and try to attempt it. Put it down in the comment section. I'll get to know whether you're right or wrong. I'll comment back as well. Okay, and also, by the way, if at all you are someone who have not subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe to it right now. It is super important for you. Why? Because you'll get all the important videos up over here. And my dear children, if at all you are liking this session, do let me know, and definitely hit on the like button as well. Okay? Okay. So what is Saheli, ma'am? So listen to me. Awareness is done, medical assistance is done. Now the third thing which was done to improve the reproductive health of the society was research and development. As in, to basically find out new ways of certain things, how you can make the healthy society what? Healthy. For example, there is an institute which is known as Central Drug Research Institute. You also call this as CDRI. Ma'am, is this piece of information important? Yes, CDRI is important. And over here, where is it? It is in Lucknow. And what did they do? What research they did? They found out the non-steroidal drug, the non-steroidal contraceptive drug, as in it did not produce any steroid in our body, and basically it was used to prevent conception, or basically I say to prevent pregnancy. And usually all the contraceptive drugs which are there, it has some steroids, it has some side effects as well, but this one was not like that. So CDRI, okay, Central Drug of Research Institute Lucknow, came up with a non-steroidal drug which is known as Saheli. Saheli. Now this is again super important. And over here I went to the official website and checked and took a snip from here. So you have to look at it. World's only, just a second. Yeah, world's only non-steroidal contraceptive, that is Saheli. No steroids, no side effects. Okay, so actual name of this is centrochroman, but obviously you have changed it because so for that everyone can pronounce. And also one very important thing, it's a once a week pill. It is what? Once a week pill. So usually all the contraceptive pills which are being taken every single day except when you are menstruating. So apart from that, every single day it is being taken, but over here it is a once a week pill, which is why again it was super important. Okay, so CDRI gave up Saheli, which is a non-steroidal contraceptive drug, and it was once a week pill also. Remember, done. Okay, now, so 3 things happened under reproductive and child healthcare program, and I spoke about all of it. I hope you know. Out of that, amniocentesis and this contraceptive drug is the most important. So after doing all this thing, do you think anything good happened after this? The answer is yes. There was decline in what? Death rate. Death rate as in what? Mortality. So basically, maternal mortality rate, the mother's death rate, my dear children, it reduced. What about infant? Infant's mortality rate also reduced. But you need to understand one very important thing. When everything, the death rate and everything was reducing, and when people were getting proper medical assistance and everything out there, there was one big problem that was happening simultaneously, and that was increase in people in reproductive age group. Because now since everything was fine, people were reproducing well and they were getting assistance also. So basically, the population size was slowly increasing. Okay, the population size, my dear children, was slowly increasing. And also the people of under reproductive age group, they were also increasing. Yeah, so it helped reduce growth rate, but only marginally. Yes, people started using contraceptives, but only marginally that happened. So it was more like the healthcare programs were better, but people were not using much amount of contraceptives. That became a problem, which is why. Was it a big problem? Answer is yes, because it can cause scarcity of basic needs, that is food, shelter and clothing. So obviously you and me, suppose we are last human beings on earth, and basically we will not have anything left. What is going to happen? We are going to fight. And that is a natural truth, right? We all want something to live. So over here, we are all going to undergo scarcity of the resources, and that was clearly being seen. If at all you look through the world population size, it was 2 billion. Okay, everything is in billion over here. Now this data is also important. 2 billion in 1900. In 2000, that means 100 years after this, it was 6 billion. And 2011, it was 7.2 billion. This is world population, my dear children. What about India? India, when we attained independence, it was 350 million. Now from million, it jumped to billion. In 2000, it became 1 billion. In May 2011, so again the data is the same only. 2000 and 2011 remains the same. So 2011 over here, it crossed 1.2 billion. So if at all you see, in world population, it was 7.2 billion. Out of that, 1.2 billion were Indians only, my dear children. So India's population was increasing way too much. Now, ma'am, is this data important? Yes. So 1900, in the world population was 2 billion. It became 6 billion in 2000. That is after 100 years. In 2011, it became 7.2 billion. Now, if we talk about India, it was 350 million. It jumped to 1 billion when in 2000, and 2011 crossed 1.2 billion. So 0.2 is same. Here it's 7, here it's 1. Got it? So that was a very big problem. Now, if at all that was happening, obviously you have to stop things. So all about the measures to control the population growth by the government. So let's see, what did the government do? Well, government came up with 4 very important things. Now this is important for your PU2. What were the steps taken by the government for the population explosion? This is the question that usually comes. So first thing is one child norm adopted by some urban working couples. So basically government said that basically why not adopt the one child norm, and people did not take it up. Okay, only the people of urban area, okay, where it was more developed, they took that up and they had only one child. Now legal marriage age group, so this is something that is actually taken by the government. That is so there was child marriage and everything happening out there before. And some of you might be still interested, I know, because you have your crushes on. But my dear children, trust me, you have to wait for some time for good reasons, yeah? So legal marriageable age was shifted to 18 for female and for 21 for males as well. Okay, this particular thing was increased. Now, that was definitely helpful. And apart from that, government started giving incentives, as in money and or any other resources to couples with small families. Okay, so people were like, okay, if we had small family, probably government will also take care of us. And promotion of small families, government came up with Hum Do Hamare Do campaign. That means we two and our two. That was also being done. The promotion was also being done. So basically, if at all I talk from government's end, it was probably the legal marriageable age that was increased, the incentives that were given, that was better, and also the promotion of small families by the different slogans, different advertisement of Hum Do Hamare Do. And one thing is one child, no, this was only accepted by urban people. Now I tell you why this question is important. You might think that, ma'am, this simple thing you're teaching, no? So in your, I saw a question in the MCQ, it was there, one child norm was adopted by people of rural area. Rural means basically the less developed areas out there, the village areas out there. Do you think there they would be taking that up? No, it is urban area. So please know that difference. You can get questions on the basis of it, and trust me, it had come. Okay, so government did 4 things, and obviously this was not enough, which is why contraceptives were promoted even more. And now we are going to get into the world of contraceptives, and just like good human beings, do you think there are good contraceptives as well? The answer is yes, and you should know the features of an ideal contraceptive. For being a good contraceptive, what should be the features? Let's see. First thing, user friendly. It should be something that can be used easily by people out there. So user friendly. Second thing, easily available. It's not like you have to go to the US to buy contraceptives out there, right? It should be easily available for everyone, whether it's an urban area, whether it's a rural area. Third thing, effective. It's not like you're using it and you're still getting pregnant, or basically you guys are still having babies. No. So it should be effective also. The fourth thing, reversible. So obviously people may not want a baby now, but want a baby later on. So which is why it should be having reversible properties as well. Okay. Now, minimal or no side effects. This is also a feature of ideal contraceptive. Should not interfere with the sexual drive or activity. Okay. So these are the features of ideal contraceptive. How many of them are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So you have basically 6 of them, and you should keep them in your mind. So user friendly, easily available, effective, reversible, minimal or no side effects, and should not interfere with the sexual desire as well. Done. This is a PU2 level question that can come up, so please know about it. So I'm telling you what's important for KCET and what's important for PU2, right? And this is one thing that is super important for KCET. My dear champions, every one of you who is going to write KCET examination, I always tell it, please take up ABHYAS KCET test series right now itself. The pricing for this is rupees 1499. We have not changed the pricing. It was the same the previous year also. We have added up one new thing, and that is what? Chapter wise KCET PYQs, and it will be under time conditions. So there will be a quiz where you have to solve it, and there are going to be 35 KCET tests. Mock test. Now at this point I would not recommend you to go ahead with this, because you are in the month of Feb, you have your PU2 boards, so at least you can go ahead with chapter wise KCET. So once I'm done with this, you can probably go ahead and start solving the questions, right? So yes, please do that. Okay, so ma'am, you're coming for live. Yes, we are coming for live, but obviously we are not covering the entire questions out there. The most probable questions are being covered, but it will be, as I said, it will be useful for you in a long run. You will get your mock test and everything. And my dear children, this was taken up by so many children the previous year, and they got the best use of it. And we have the proof. Okay, so the highest rank it went was 171 out of 3 lakh children appearing for this examination. Prajwal got 117 rank, Kiran, I remember, 443, Deeksha with 693, and the list goes on. So trust us, take that up, and do not just take that up, start solving questions. This is super important. Okay, wishing you all the best. Let's go ahead. Okay, now all about the natural method. So listen to me very carefully. Now we are going to get into the world of contraceptives. And in contraceptives, you have multiple types. The first type of contraceptive that you have is natural method. Listen, What is the principle of natural method? To prevent the sperm and the ovum from meeting. I do not want the sperm and ovum to meet. Why? Because if the sperm and the ovum meets, fertilization is going to happen, zygote is going to be formed, embryo will be forming, fetus is going to be formed, there is pregnancy that is happening, right? Yeah. Okay, so ma'am, how can you prevent that? Let's see. First method that we have is periodic abstinence. Now, I can clearly see it's not very much visible to you, so I'll just lower down the light and come right now, okay? Just give me a second. Yeah, I think now it's better. Well, anyway, you do not need to read what is up there. I'll explain it to you, but listen to me carefully. So the first one is periodic abstinence. So my dear children, when I say a woman is having her menstrual cycle, it's of usually 28 days. How many days? 28 days. So from first day onwards to 28 days, the cycle is ongoing. Now, somewhere in the middle, what will be the middle? It will be the 14th day, right? She will be having ovulation, as in the egg is going to be released. Now, at the same point, if the egg comes in contact with the sperm, what is going to happen? There are chances of pregnancy. Okay. So that means someone should not be having sexual intercourse during this particular time? Yes. But ma'am, is it correct exactly on 14th day that ovulation can happen? No. So there is a fertile window, which I say it starts from day 10 to day 17. Ma'am, do I have to remember these days? Yes. So day 10 to 17 of a menstrual cycle is where you say that you are probably fertile. So this is known as fertile window. At this particular point, any point, ovulation can happen, which is why someone should prevent, or basically the people who are planning to have sexual intercourse should not be having it. So avoiding coitus from day 10 to day 17 is known as periodic abstinence. Now, ma'am, this name is too difficult for me to remember. Periodic abstinence. That means you are absent during a period. What is that period? This period, fertile period out there, from 10 to 17 days. There is no sexual intercourse that is going to happen. Okay? So are we inserting something in the body? No. This is all natural. Are the sperms and the ovum meeting? No. So again, the principle is being taken care of. Next is withdrawal method. Now, it's super simple to understand. Withdrawal, you also call this as coitus interruptus. Why? So, withdrawal method means before a man ejaculates inside the female body, the penis is taken out of the reproductive system or the female body. Male withdraws his penis before ejaculation. This is known as withdrawal method. And why it is known as coitus interruptus? Because coitus means sexual intercourse and you're interrupting the coitus up there. That is why it is known as coitus interruptus. Okay, fine. Now, the third thing is lactational amenorrhea. Lactational amenorrhea means when a woman is lactating, that means when a woman gives birth to a baby and after that for almost up to 6 months, okay, when she is breastfeeding, when she is lactating, at this particular point of time, one thing happens in our body and that is stopping of ovulation. That means ovulation is not going to happen. Why is ovulation not going to happen? Because ovulation majorly happens because of two very important hormones, that is FSH and LH, right? Follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. So in a lactating woman, listen to me carefully, this is an important question. In a lactating woman who is breastfeeding, in her body, since there is formation of milk happening, you need a hormone and that is known as prolactin. What is it known as? It is known as prolactin. And this prolactin hormone is super important. For what? For lactation to happen. Now, when prolactin hormone is there, FSH and LH is going to be reduced. The amount of it is going to be definitely reduced, which is why ovulation is not going to be happening out there. Now, if ovulation is not happening, that means egg is not being released. If egg is not being released, that means there is no chance of fertilization to happen. But this is effective only up to 6 months. Only up to 6 months. And you know what? After you have heard of these three things, do you think they are definitely 100% effective out there? Can you rely on this? The answer is no. Because everything is natural. There are chances that you might ovulate after 17 or probably before 10th also. We never know. So if at all someone is having sexual intercourse before that and after that time, obviously there are chances of pregnancy. What if ejaculation happened by chance? Again, there is transfer of pregnancy. What if in her body, FSH and LH hormone is still being produced, the level of prolactin is less? She can still undergo ovulation and have a baby. You get it? Which is why the natural methods, even though they are really good, they do not have any side effects, but there is high failure rate. There is high failure rate. So advantage of it is no medicines, no side effects that is going to happen, but disadvantage is what? High failure rate. And please remember the name of this hormone, that is prolactin. Okay? Done? Done. Cool. So this is the first method, that is natural method. And you have the second homework, and I think the last homework for today. Lactational amenorrhea prevents secretion of milk from breast, prevents conception, prevents secretion of prolactin, prevents spermatogenesis. What do you think is the answer for this particular question? Try it out. Okay? And comment it down in the comment section right now. Fine. Now, all about the next method, which is barrier method. So first one was natural method, second one is barrier method. And this is something that is pretty much famous. Again, the principle is what? To prevent the sperm and ovum from meeting. You might have all heard about condom. Have you seen condom? Well, if not, it looks like this. So this is the general thing that is there. This is used by the males, okay? So male's penis is being covered by the condom. What is this? This is female condoms. So ma'am, females also have condom? Yes, they do have condoms. Okay, so basically if at all you see the female structure, it looks like this. So over here, you know, there is cervix and there is vagina. So holding on to cervix, you will be having a cap-like structure which is covered, and then there will be something like this. Again, an opening will be over here. So through this opening, the penis can be inserted. Okay, but anyway, it is closed up over here, which is why even if the penis is being inserted and the sperm is being released, they cannot move up. You get it? So the same logic is being applied in the case of the male condoms as well. So it is made up of thin rubber or latex and covers the penis in the case of male and cervix as well as vagina in the case of females. Now, one very important thing, very important thing. Condom is the only thing which can prevent both conception as well as protects against STIs, that is sexually transmitted infection. Why? Because over here, as you have seen, everything is happening within this particular sac itself, right? Within the condom itself. No fluid exchange is being seen. No fluid exchange, no blood, no genital fluids, nothing, which is why. And all the STDs which are there, they pass through the fluids of our body, whether it be blood or genital fluids. So since it is not happening up over here, which is why we say that condoms are best for preventing conception and also for preventing what you call STIs, that is sexually transmitted infections such as AIDS. Yeah, so popular brand is Nirod. I showed you the advertisement, right? Nirod. And disposable. So it is disposable, it is self-inserted, it ensures privacy. So you can throw it away, and also, my dear children, there is no need for any doctors to put it inside your body. It is can be utilized by anyone out there. So this is the first barrier method that you have, and that is condom. So ma'am, barrier method ends up over here? No, you have more. So listen to me carefully. The second thing is diaphragm as well as cervical caps and also vaults. So basically, all of them, they are in different shape as well as size, but almost all of them has something similar like this. So it's a cup shaped thing which is there, very small thing, which you basically insert and cover your cervix out there. It covers the cervix out there. Okay. Now, depending on the location, it can be named as diaphragm or cervical caps or as well as vaults. But the principle remains to be the same. It is inserted by the females in their body. So it is made up of rubber barriers inserted into the female reproductive tract, covers the cervix, preventing what? Sperm entry, and it is also reusable. So for example, condoms are not something that is reusable, but this can be reused. Again, you have to sterilize it very properly. So diaphragms, cervical caps as well as vaults, this is only found for females. Okay? Yes. Done. Now, if at all they come up, there is one more thing, that is what? Spermicidal creams and jellies as well as foams. So basically, when someone is using condom or when someone is using diaphragm or cervical caps, it is recommended that also use spermicidal creams. Spermicidal means they basically go and kill the sperms out there. So if at all there are chances of any leakage, there are probably could happen, basically those sperms can also be killed if at all someone is using spermicidal creams, jellies or foams. So used along with barriers to increase the contraceptive efficiency. So this is how a jelly looks. Basically it can be taken out and be used. Okay, so this is the next method, that is barrier method. Condom is the most important thing, and as I told you, it prevents conception, and not just conception, also prevents STIs out there. Okay, cool. Now we have the intrauterine method or intrauterine devices, to be honest. So the answer is devices. Intrauterine devices, I also call this as IUDs. This is going to be the next method of contraception. So natural method done, barrier method done. Now listen to me carefully. This is where most of us get confused, but it is a very easy topic. If at all you have a structural understanding of this, and I'll help you with that. Okay? So, intrauterine devices, as the name suggests, you have to put it inside the uterus. Now, can someone put it inside the uterus directly? No. You need the help of doctors or nurses out there. Okay, and once it is being put, you keep it there, keep it in the uterus for some time also. It's not like it will be removed daily. No, it does not work like that. Now, what is the best part of it? Two things. First, it is one of the most widely accepted contraceptive methods. There are two widely accepted contraceptive methods. One is this, that is IUDs. The second one is pills, oral pills. Two things. Now, apart from it, this is also best for spacing children. For example, you might have seen that couples who are there, they want babies after 5 years. One baby is being born, then after 5 years only. So for spacing between children also, this is best, because for the entire 5 years, it might be there in their body. Okay? And the first type of intrauterine device that you have three types. First type is non-medicated IUDs. Non-medicated IUDs means they are not going to release anything inside your body. No hormones, nothing. Nothing is going to be released. Then how do they work? So my dear children, as I told you, the uterus, it looks like this, right? You have the endometrium out there. So it's like an inverted pear-shaped structure. Over here, suppose I'm inserting something like this, so that it stays up there. Okay, this structure which you have as of now is known as lipase loop. And what does it do? It is non-medicated also. What does it do? Basically, it's like an alarm to your body saying that I am something foreign that have entered your body. Probably your body should be releasing some immune cells. So what happens? Our body is very, very active over here, and they start producing so many immune cells. Now, suppose someone undergo sexual intercourse, yeah, because they definitely will be. That is why you're putting it inside the uterus. So they underwent sexual intercourse, and from here the sperm entered their uterus. The sperms are going to be naturally killed by what? Your immune cells. Why? Because they are already active up there. You get it? They are super active up there. So non-medicated IUDs, they increase the phagocytosis of sperms. Phagocytosis means basically eating up of sperms. They increase the killing of sperms out there. The uterus immune response is triggered, leading to white blood cells attacking the sperms, reducing their survival. So that is the only logic behind non-medicated IUDs. The example for this is lipase loop. And with this picture being there, I hope you never forget it. It looks like a loop out there, right? This is known as lipase loop. Now, the second type of thing is copper releasing IUD. Copper releasing IUD, as in CUT, QT, as in what? Copper T, CU7 and multi-load 375. Ma'am, these names are very, very difficult, and it looks scary also. So listen to me. Again, picturize it. So CUT or copper T, it has a T-shaped structure. So this is a T-shaped structure that it is having. And CU7, it has a 7-shaped structure. And multi-load 375. Multi-load 375 means basically they are going to produce this much amount of copper in them. And they basically would be producing more amount of copper. That is why it is written multi-load 375. Okay, but ma'am, why are they known as copper releasing IUDs? What is the role of copper here? So copper ions which are there, you know what they do? For example, sperm is there. You know, someone goes and traps the tail of the sperm and say that you cannot move anywhere, you cannot go up there into the ampulla where the egg is there, I'm not going to make you move. So it reduces the motility of sperms. The movement of the sperm is being reduced, and not just that, it messes up with the fertilizing capacity of the sperm. So sperm, even if they reach up there, they would not be able to fertilize as well. So two things are being messed up by copper releasing IUDs, or basically copper ions out there. One is the motility of the sperm, and the second one is the fertilizing capacity of the sperm. So copper ions are released into the uterus. These ions reduce the sperm motility, making it difficult for sperms to survive or basically swim towards the egg. And not just that, they also alter the sperm's fertilizing capacity, preventing successful fertilization. So intrauterine device, the next one is copper releasing IUD. I hope that is also clear. Now you have the next one, that is hormone releasing IUDs. Example, Progestasert and LNG20. Most of it gets confused. LNG20 comes under copper releasing? No, comes over here. And what is the best way to remember it? LNG stands for levonorgestrel. Levonorgestrel, and my dear children, it's a synthetic form of progesterone. Okay, so Progestasert, LNG20, which is there, all of it, they are hormone releasing IUD. What hormones? So in our body, I'll generally tell you one very important thing. Wherever you see the term hormone, just understand this is the logic behind it. Hormones, my dear children, are basically there for ovulation to happen. Right? You have studied about progesterone, estrogen and all, right? So with the help of estrogen only, ovulation is going to happen. Estrogen level goes up, LH goes up, and that's how ovulation happens. Now, after that, implantation. Basically, the embryo will come and get implanted into the endometrium. For that, you have to make sure the endometrium is thick. For that, what do you need? Estrogen and progesterone. Again, especially progesterone. Yes? Right. Suppose these hormones which are naturally produced in our body, their level is going to be disturbed. Why? Because you are synthetically giving something from outside. Now there's a hormonal imbalance, and because of this imbalance, the normal functions that they used to do, they're not going to do it. There is no ovulation that is going to happen. There is no implantation that is going to happen, my dear children. That means that is trouble. That is trouble. So hormone releasing IUD messes up with the hormones up there, which is why ovulation and implantation is being prevented. Apart from it, also understand the cervix which is there, it will be developing a very thick mucus. Okay, cervix will create thick mucus around it. I will call it as cervical mucus. And so what's the problem with this particular mucus? Now, if there is a mucus plug being formed over here, do you think sperms can easily travel inside? No. So three things are being messed up: ovulation, implantation, and also transport of sperm. Because why? There is a cervical mucus plug being formed over here. It also looks like this, but over here there are no copper ions being wrapped around, right? Copper wire being wrapped around. It's just going to release hormones. You have two examples, Progestasert and also LNG20. Okay? Fine. So let's read it. These hormones thicken the cervical mucus, making it difficult for the sperm to enter. They thin the uterine lining. So usually these hormones used to make it thick, but now they make it very thin, such that implantation does not occur at all. Now, in some cases, they also may inhibit ovulation as well. Okay? Yes, and we have a twin. With that, I meant that it exactly looks like this, just that there is no copper wires inside. Cool. So intrauterine devices, again, I think I have made, yeah. So we have three of them: non-medicated, copper releasing IUDs, and hormone releasing IUD, non-medicated. Make sure that our immune cells are very, very active. Copper releasing IUDs. Make sure that the sperm motility is reduced and also the fertilizing capacity is reduced. Hormone releasing IUD, as I told, ovulation, implantation, and also that is being affected, and there is a cervical mucus plug that is being formed as well. Okay. It is best for spacing children, and it is one of the most widely accepted contraceptives. In your NCERT, there is only two widely accepted. One is IUD, and the second one is one thing that we are going to discuss right now, and that is oral contraceptive pills. This is going to be the next one. Okay, so in oral contraceptive pills, what are you going to give? What are you going to give? Basically, it is going to be a combination of two hormones, that is progestrogens or progestrogen-estrogen combination. Okay, that means you can either directly give just progestrogens, as in synthetic progesterone, and also progestrogen-estrogen combination. either this alone or a combination of this. This is going to be taken daily for 21 days starting within the first 5 days of the cycle. So what are the first 5 days of the cycle? It will be starting off. 7 days gap is going to be given. Why? Because menstruation has to happen. That is why. Okay. So please remember, here obviously there is steroids, there is hormones being done. That is why you have side effects as well. There will be definitely side effects of this. Now, as I told you, there is one oral contraceptive pill that does not have any side effect, and I hope you remember that. It is Saheli. It is once a week pill. Unlike this, over here you saw it is used daily for 21 days, except a gap of 7 days where a woman has to menstruate. Okay, got it? Now, here estrogen is steady and slow, progesterone dominates. So whenever you're giving estrogen progesterone combination, basically you make sure the level of progesterone is more, because this is what is going to mess around everything. Okay, so it inhibits ovulation and implantation, just like how every other hormone was working. I told you about hormonal things, right? Ovulation and implantation is definitely going to be hampered. Alters the cervical mucus also, and it is effective and widely accepted with minimal side effects. There are minimal side effects, but there are definitely some side effects, right? So yes, and it is widely accepted, just like IUDs. Okay, so please have that in your head. So this is oral contraceptive pill, and apart from that you have one more thing, that is implants. Implants also work behind the same logic. Again, it also inhibit ovulation and implantation. That means, again, are we giving hormones? Yes. But over here, the picture in your NCERT, it looks like this. This is something that you are going to get inserted under your skin. Okay, it is done by doctors, and they basically, when they are under your skin, they are going to release the hormones. What hormones? Either progesterone or progesterone-estrogen combinations out there that can be released into your blood. Again, that causes an imbalance out there, leading to what? Inhibition of ovulation as well as implantation. Got it? So this is implants. So either injections or implants can be taken up. So natural method, barrier method, IUDs, oral contraceptive pills, and now implants. So almost hormone releasing IUDs, from there onwards everything is the same. Inhibits ovulation, implantation. Inhibits ovulation, implantation. Because why? You're talking about hormones. Mostly progesterone, otherwise progesterone estrogen combination. Right? Done. Now the sixth one is highly interesting. It is surgical method. And here, when I go ahead with that, I want to tell you one thing. It has low reversibility. It has poor reversibility. As in, for example, if someone undergoes surgical method, actually there are no chances that they can revert back and have babies later on. So it's like a last step. If at all they are very sure they do not want babies, they should be taking that up. What is happening up over here and why there is poor reversibility? So listen to me. Principle is to prevent gamete transport. Gamete transport is being prevented. Forget about them coming together, prevent the combination of, prevent fertilization, no. Prevent gamete transport itself. So listen, it can be done in two cases, in the case of males, in the case of females also. If you're doing in the case of males, you might have heard that there is a duct that is known as vas deferens. What is this? Is the vas deferens, okay? What do? The testis is a place where the sperm is going to be formed. And the vas deferens is going to carry it towards your, let's see where does it go, okay? It goes like this, and over here it comes up through the urethra. So basically it passes the sperm out there until the penis, and in between you have so many other things out there. You have studied this in human reproduction. So always remember, if at all you do not know about the male reproductive structure, go watch this video, that video, and listen to me carefully. Over here, anyway, so vas deferens which is there, it is there for transport of sperm. Suppose I'm cutting off this vas deferens from here and I'm tying it up. Do you think the gamete can be transported? No. So ma'am, this particular man, in him, do you think spermatogenesis is going to happen? The answer is yes. Sperm formation is definitely going to happen. But there are no sperms, right? So what is going to be there? I mean, like, how it works? Is there semen production? So in your NCERT, one clear thing has been mentioned, that is, semen is going to be produced. Semen is actually a combination of two things. One is seminal plasma, I'll tell what is it, and also the sperm. Seminal plasma is the secretion of some glands which are there in the case of male. For example, as I was telling you, you have the vas deferens. So vas deferens, when it reaches up here, it receives a secretion of a gland that is seminal vesicle. Okay, and then together they form another duct which is known as ejaculatory duct. Then again there is another gland that provides secretion. Then there will be another gland that provides secretion. All these secretions together are known as seminal plasma. Why are there is a secretion? For providing energy to the sperm, for providing fertilizing capacity to the sperm, lot of things out there. But anyway, both of them together you call this as semen, and that is the whitish thing which is released during ejaculation. Now since sperm is not there, do you think semen is going to be produced? Yes. So semen is still going to be produced, but without sperms. Sperms are not going to be found in the semen, just the fluids which are there, that will be there. So actually speaking, it should not be said like that. It should be said that only seminal plasma will be there. But in your NCERT it is clearly written, semen is going to be produced without sperm. So here spermatogenesis happens? Yes, ma'am. Semen is being produced? Yes, ma'am, but without sperm. Done? That is known as vasectomy. When you cut the vas difference out there, you call this process as vasectomy. Vas difference is cut and tied through a small scrotal incision. Through the scrotum, you open and you cut it up, and that's done. Okay. Now, in the case of females, how do you stop the transport? Again, in the case of females, my dear children, you have the oviduct, the fallopian tube, which is going to carry the ovum, right? Why not cut it up? This is known as tubectomy. So again, oogenesis is going to happen over here. Yes, every time ovum is going to be produced. But my dear children, once it reaches over here, it is going to get degenerated. It is going to get degenerated. Ma'am, will these women be menstruating? Yes. Why not? Because ovum is functioning, the hormones are being produced. So obviously, every single time the endometrium is being formed and it is going to be shed off. So menstruation will happen normally. Just that transport of gametes are not going to take place. Okay, got it? So out of the two couples out there, one person has to undergo this, and that would be more than enough. So tubectomy is what you call this. Fallopian tube is cut and tied via small abdominal or vaginal incision. So either through vagina or through the abdominal region, you can cut and tie it up. Okay, effectiveness and limitations. Highly effective in preventing pregnancy. Highly effective, because why? Gamete transport itself is not happening, right? But reversibility, if at all you see, it's very, very poor. It's going to be super bad. Works? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Now, there is a category that is known as emergency contraceptives. For example, someone sadly underwent rape, or people, they undergo casual unprotected sexual intercourse and now they do not want anything to happen beyond it. At this particular point of time, you take emergency contraceptives. It has to be taken within 72 hours of unprotected intercourse, within 72 hours. And what are the things that you usually give? You give either pills, that is progesterone, estrogen combination, or you also have hormone-releasing IUDs. Or hormone-releasing IUDs are inserted inside the body. Only hormone-releasing IUD, not anyone else. Only hormone-releasing IUD, because you have to make sure the hormonal balance is being what you call ruptured out there. It should not be there. So either the pills or basically IUDs, which are again hormonal, can be given. It has to be done used within 72 hours itself. Why? Because the sperm that enters the body can remain viable inside the female body for up to 5 days. For up to 5 days. And at this point, suppose on day 1, when anything was happening, suppose ovulation didn't happen, it's fine. Then you're thinking that, okay, ovulation didn't happen, so it's okay. No, it does not work like that. Sperm can be remaining for 5 days, and any single day if ovum comes in, there can be fertilization that can happen. Which is why it has to be taken within 72 hours of unprotected sexual intercourse. Either it can be pills, as I said, with progesterone, estrogen combination, or it can be IUDs with hormonal combinations. Done? Done. This is emergency contraceptive. So you have studied about all the different type of contraceptives, and with that, I have a concept I want to teach you a concept with the help of a question, and it goes like this. Select the incorrect statement about the contraceptives. They are regular requirements for maintenance of reproductive health. You have been asked to find the incorrect statement, okay? They are regular requirements for the maintenance of reproductive health. Do you think any of us should be having what you call contraceptives because it's a regular requirement? No, it's not at all a regular requirement. So wrong. They have a significant role in checking uncontrolled growth of population. They do. Do they have? They do, right? It is a correct statement. It is going to be a correct statement. You have been asked what is incorrect. So this is correct, fine. So ma'am, you have already got it, but we have to check through, right? They are practiced against a natural reproductive event like conception or pregnancy. It is practiced against a natural event, right? So again, this is also correct. The possible ill effects like nausea means feeling to vomit, abdominal pain, irregular menstrual bleeding, or even breast cancer should not be totally ignored. Do you think that contraceptives has these type of effects also, side effects also? Nausea, abdominal pain, it's fine. Irregular menstrual bleeding and also breast cancer, do you think that can happen? The answer is yes. Some people think there are no much side effects, but yes, there are certain side effects, and you should know this is a very important concept. So which one is the odd one out? This one is the odd one out. They are not. Definitely the regular requirements are there. Okay? Done. Clear? So please make sure you understand the side effects also. This is also given in your NCERT itself. Yeah, done. Okay, let's go ahead with the next thing, and that is medical termination of pregnancy, MTP. What do you mean by that? Medical termination of pregnancy means you are terminating the pregnancy voluntarily. Okay, you know about it and you want to terminate the pregnancy. Can we call it abortion? I cannot call it plain abortion. I will call it induced abortion, because you are doing it. You have your own will to do this. So it is known as induced abortion. It is not naturally happening. So some people have miscarriages. That is very natural. But here it is induced abortion. Okay. So what is MTP and is it legal in India? MTP, voluntary termination of pregnancy, as I told you before the full term, it is also known as induced abortion. Okay. Legal status in India, it was legalized in the year 1971. 1971. Ma'am, is this date important? The answer is yes. Okay. Next question. When is someone allowed to undergo this? Can everyone undergo this? There are certain things. When it is risk to mother's life, or serious physical mental health injury for the mother, then you're allowed, or risk of severe physical mental abnormalities in the unborn child. If at all the child has some issues are there, then also. So in two of these conditions, we say that yes, someone can undergo MTP. Now also, if there is unwanted pregnancy either due to casual unprotected intercourse or failure of contraceptive used during coitus, or basically if someone has undergone rape, in that particular condition also it is being totally considered. MTPs are being considered. So mostly this is a question when it is being considered. So when it is risk to mother's life and also the baby's life, and also when it is rapes that is happening. Otherwise, yes, unprotected sexual intercourse and all is also being considered, but these three things are there. 1, 2 and rape. Okay? Now, going ahead with the next thing. Is it safe for a mother? Do you think it's safe for the mother to undergo MTP? The answer is partially yes. Why? Not fully. So, if at all you talk about the mother who is undergoing MTP when she is 12 weeks pregnant. 12 weeks means 3 months. 3 months means the first trimester. Within 3 months itself, if at all she is undergoing MTP, it's considered to be relatively safe. Relatively safe. Related to what? Related to abortion which has been done at almost 24 weeks. That is 6 months. So abortion can be done within 6 months also, that is 24 weeks also, but it is highly risky. It is what? Highly risky. So what is relatively safe? 12 weeks, that is 3 months. Okay, what is not safe? 24 weeks, that is 6 months. But can it be done? Yes, it can be done. So if at all you are asked this question, until when can it be done? It can be done until 6 months. Until 6 months or 24 weeks, it can be done. Each month has 4 weeks, right? So 6 into 4, 24 weeks. Got it? So relatively safe only up to 3 months, but it can be done up to 6 months. No, okay. Do people misuse it, ma'am? The answer is yes. As I told you, people used to generally do amniocentesis and then go ahead with female feticides. And that was very, very big problem. And also, you know, people now, so for example, you are in adolescent stage, okay? Suppose any of your friend and anything underwent sexual intercourse, okay? And now you know the consequence of it, that as of now I cannot bear a baby. So what do they decide? We have to undergo abortion. Now the thing is, obviously I get it, it might be difficult for you to talk to the parents or anyone out there, which is why you go to a doctor. thinking that abortion can be done easily. Now, people misuse it. As in, there are so many unqualified people out there who say that I can do abortion for you if at all you give me this money. And they do it. And then what? Then you might have infections, or there are conditions where people actually die as well. So that is also a misuse just for money doing this. And it is very it is done by people who are very unprofessional. They are not qualified enough to do this. You get it? So yes, for female feticide, that's a definite problem. And then majority of MTPs are performed illegally by unqualified cocks, which are not only unsafe but can be fatal too. Which is why I'll definitely recommend you know about contraceptives. First thing, wait for some time to undergo sexual intercourse. Second thing, okay, because you have way too much life in front of you and there is plenty of time. Second thing, please be aware of all the contraceptive methods that I have taught you and have that in your head. Okay? For you, it might be just a small thing, but you do not know the consequence of it. It can be very, very, very difficult for you, for your family, for your friends, everyone, especially for you. So don't do anything that's stupid. Yes, works. Now, so did the government do anything to make it stricter? Because people, you know what, people were doing all this thing and there was a big problem. So many children were dying and so many things were happening, which is why even though it was legalized in 1971, an act was being produced, Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Act. And this was in 2017. Legalized in year 1971. Now you do ulta of 71, it becomes 17. And over here you add 20. 19, after that you have 20, right? So you remember like that. It was legalized here, but Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act was put down in the year 2017. And the aim was to reduce illegal abortions and maternal mortality rate. Okay, mothers were dying, so you had to reduce that rate also. Okay, so what was being put up here in this particular act, that you can undergo abortion up to 12 weeks, that is first month or first trimester, allowed with one registered medical practitioner's approval. Only if at least one medical practitioner approve it, then only you can undergo it. Otherwise, if at all you are undergoing MTP in 12 to 24 weeks, that is up to 6 months, then you require 2 registered medical practitioners approval. So here you require 1, here you require 2 practitioners approval, then only someone can undergo what? Abortion, induced abortion. Okay? I hope this is clear, and I hope now you understand why I said that it is very important for you guys to know this. So again, I have 2 things. So it is given in abortion procedures first, second and third trimester. Ecclesia Muscogee has put up this. It had got several views, but I do not know if at all you saw it. So there are several ways of abortion or induced abortion. One goes like this. Okay? So over here, basically some medicines are being taken, and these medicines which are being taken, my dear children, will be leading to contraction and relassion and shedding off the entire thing, and which is why the baby also would be moving out. That is one thing. Okay. Again, obviously, it will be having some side effects. Apart from that, when things gets a bit more difficult, there is other thing where, yes, with the help of a suction tube, everything which is inside is being sucked. Okay, everything which is inside is being sucked out. So that is also there. Depending upon the severity, it is being done. The reason why I showed you this is that you should understand that it's not an easy procedure. It's not an easy procedure, and basically there is a killing of a life as well. So be very cautious, be attentive. Okay, so read the following statements. Statement 1, MTP is to get rid of wanted pregnancies due to casual unprotected intercourse or failure of contraceptive use during coitus or rapes. So you feel that all the statement is correct, but over here it is written wanted pregnancy. MTP is to get rid of wanted pregnancy? No, unwanted pregnancy. So this statement is going to be wrong. Statement number 2, MTPs are performed legally by qualified doctors by giving proper medical justification. Yes, it can be done legally also, but by qualified doctors, yes, by giving proper medical justification, yes. So you might have seen in your NCERT written, MTPs are performed by unqualified cogs. Yes, it is being done and that is why there was a ban. But over here it is clearly written, MTPs can be performed by legally also by qualified doctors with proper medical justification also. So this statement is correct, this statement will be false. So statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct, which is why your answer for this question is going to be 2. This is a KCET question that came. Okay. Now we go ahead and see sexually transmitted diseases. So by this point of time, your brain will be like, oh my God, ma'am, I didn't know it was, these many things were there. Now I'm scared. So do not be scared, just be aware. And yeah, so what is the meaning of sexually transmitted diseases? Infections or diseases which are transmitted through sexual intercourse are collectively called sexually transmitted infections, or you also call this as venereal diseases. What do you call this? Venereal disease. So if at all you're asked what are the venereal diseases, don't get confused, it is sexually transmitted disease only. Or you also call this as reproductive tract infection. Okay, reproductive tract infection. So either you call it STIs or venereal disease or reproductive tract infection. Now you need to know one very important thing. Some STIs are there which are not just transmitted through sexual intercourse. There can be other ways also for its transmission. So for example, AIDS. AIDS is something that we are scared of. We basically do very bad to people who are having AIDS. We just stigmatize them, but that is not correct. Not everyone will be having AIDS through sexual intercourse. AIDS, which is a STI, a disease that can be also passed through sexual intercourse, can also be passed through other body fluids such as blood. So for example, a person is someone who is having a disease for which he or she has to undergo repeated blood transfusion, and suppose the blood which is being put inside his or her body is not being checked properly and it had some HIV viruses, then that person can have the disease. You get it? So not all sexually transmitted diseases which are mentioned over here are passed only through sexual intercourse out there. Okay, so sexually transmitted infections are the ones which are passed through sexual intercourse, but all of them are not just through that. It will be there for sure. Sexual intercourse can be a reason, but there can be other reasons also. That is what I meant. I hope you understood that, right? Now, example, no, you have examples in your NCERT and we need to remember it. Gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, genital warts, trichomoniasis, genital herpes, hepatitis B, HIV, AIDS. How many of them are there? 8 of them are there. And the most dangerous out of them is what? HIV, AIDS. What all? Gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, genital warts, trichomoniasis, genital herpes, hepatitis B, and HIV, AIDS. Gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, genital warts, trichomoniasis, genital herpes, hepatitis B, HIV, AIDS. Go on, repeat it in loop, otherwise you will not be able to remember. Now, out of them, do you think all of them are completely curable? Yes, these are, but these are not. And all of them, if at all you see, have an H in them. Herpes, H, hepatitis B, H, HIV, AIDS, H. So 3 of them which starts with H are not completely curable. Again, an important MCQ question in KCET and also your PU2. Okay, these 3 are not completely curable. Okay, next question. Can they be spread only through sexual contact? As I said, HIV and hepatitis B can also be spread by. So there are diseases which can be spread by other sources also. So HIV and hepatitis B is one such thing which can be spread by sharing needles, surgical instruments, infected blood transfusion, because anywhere blood or any other fluid is being involved, you can transmit it. And it can be also transmitted from the mother to the fetus also. It can also be transmitted from the mother to the fetus. Got it? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Next question. Do they have recognizable symptoms? Now, this is something that have been coming up now. That has been asked up now these days in your PU2, and you should know it. And most of us ignore this topic out there. You should know it, okay? So, early signs are itching, discharge, pain, and swelling in the genital region. There will be itching, there will be some discharge, as in some fluids will be released. There will be pain as well as swelling in the genital regions out there. Females may be asymptomatic, leading to late detection. Females which are there, they might be having lesser symptoms and it might be shown up very late, which is why it leads to late detection as well. And what are the problems which are going to be caused by these diseases out there? There can be pelvic inflammatory disease, as in the pelvic region there can be inflammation leading to a lot of trouble out there. There can be abortions because you have STIs. There can be stillbirth, as in the baby is being born but it is being dead. Ectopic pregnancy. For example, ectopic pregnancy means this fetus has to be forming inside the uterus, right? But now it is forming in the fallopian tube. This can be super fatal for the mother as well as the fetus. Both of them can lose their life. So this is known as ectopic pregnancy. Pregnancy elsewhere apart from the uterus. It can also lead to infertility. It can also lead to reproductive tract cancer. Okay, so these are the few very, very important things. Pelvic inflammatory diseases, abortion. So people who are having STIs can, as I said, they might not be having certain symptoms out there, but when they're trying for a baby, they're not having it. Why? Because yes, they have STIs. So infertility, abortion, stillbirth, ectopic pregnancy, pelvic inflammatory disease, also reproductive tract cancer can happen. Okay, done? Yes, fine. So now, can we prevent it? Obviously, yes, we can. How can we prevent it? By avoiding unknown and multiple partners. First thing. Second thing, use condoms during intercourse, because I told you condom is not just a contraceptive, but also it prevents sexually transmitted infection. Third thing, seek medical help for early detection and complete treatment. Okay, if at all you see some symptoms, go to the doctor and check it up. Do not make things worse. So this again is a PU2 topic that is being usually asked. Okay, what are the steps to prevent STIs? This is a favorite question almost. Avoid unknown and multiple partners, use condoms, and seek medical help for early detection as well as complete treatment. Done? Done. Now, safer sex. Okay, what do I have to do? Limit your partners, get yourself testers, talk to the partners that basically sexual intercourse later on, and that too protected. And avoid drugs and alcohol. When you take drugs, there are chances that it goes through the same syringe, right? Needles can be used, and some of the STIs that can be passed through blood also, you can get it. Educate yourself by watching videos like this. Okay, so yes, that's it. And now we come to the last part of this particular chapter, and that is assisted reproductive technologies. Assisted reproductive technologies, I also call this as ART. Assisted reproductive technologies. What is the use of assisted reproductive technology, my dear children? To assist in the reproductive procedure. For example, someone who is infertile, who is not able to have baby, are there any ways that other people or technology can help in? Yes, and that is known as assisted reproductive technologies. So, why ART? Because of infertility. And why infertility? First of all, what do you mean by infertility? Inability to conceive. Okay, despite of unprotected sexual intercourse. So, even after having sexual intercourse, and that too unprotected, if you're still if not able to conceive, that means it is infertility. Cause can be physical, congenital, and drugs, immunological, psychological. Now this is super important. They can be asking you what are the causes of infertility. This is again a PU2 related concept. That is an important thing. It can be physical reasons, your body is not capable somehow. Congenital disease, as in you have some genetic diseases out there. Drugs which you are using, that can be reason. Immunological reason, for example, your body are not able to detect your own cells and might be killing it. Psychological, if at all you are under stress, that can also lead to infertility. Misconception, women are often blamed, but male infertility is equally common. Is it? Yes. And trust me, dear children, when I was doing my PG in zoology, I did my PG in zoology, okay? So I had an internship to be done, and I did it in IVF clinic. And there are so many men coming up with infertility issues. So it's not like the semen is being produced, but again, the level of sperm which are there, they're very less. Sometimes zero also. Azoospermia is what you call that condition. So it is very much common in the case of males as well as females. You should be knowing about that. Okay, so if at all you have your bigger cousins out there who is worried about not having a baby, you can ask them to go to IVF clinic. Okay, so assisted reproductive technologies used when natural conception is not possible. And what is the first thing that we have? First thing that we have is in vitro fertilization. What do you mean by that? In vitro means inside the lab. Inside the lab, you are undergoing fertilization. The sperm and the egg is going to meet within the lab. Okay. Fine. But for that, you need to collect the egg and the sperm, right? Yes, you do that. So the female, suppose she is producing enough amount of egg, but somehow fertilization is not happening inside her body. She is made to hyper-ovulate, as in she is given hormones to ovulate, so that so many eggs can be produced in one go, and those eggs are being taken. Similarly, the male, if at all he has perfect sperms, those are also being taken, and both of them are fused in laboratory condition, because this fertilization process might not be happening. And then if she has all the good environments, such as a uterus, a proper uterus and everything out there, basically this zygote which is going to be formed, that can be put inside her body. Where inside the body? Where is the zygote being put? Usually, where is the zygote being formed in the female body? In the fallopian tube. So egg and the sperm meet in the ampulla of the fallopian tube, right, and forms a zygote. Zygote is a single cell thing. Then it divides to form embryo, which is multicellular, and then slowly it rolls down into the uterus. That is how it goes, right? So zygote can be inserted where? Inside the fallopian tube, and that is the first thing that we have. After IVF, what is the process that we have? Zygote intrafallopian transfer. Inside the fallopian tube, you are transferring the zygote. But always remember, it's not just the zygote. It can also be an embryo. But this embryo should be having only blastomeres, or basically cells up to 8. If at all the embryo has cells up to 8 blastomeres out there, you can put it inside the fallopian tube again. If it is beyond, again, as I told you, it can lead to ectopic pregnancy. Baby can form here itself in the fallopian tube, and that can be very, very dangerous. So ZIFT means not just zygote, intrafallopian transfer, but also embryo which is up to 8 blastomeres. So either the zygote or an embryo with 8 blastomeres is transferred into the fallopian tube. Now, if not, suppose the embryo has divided, it's more than 8 blastomere stage, then what do? You do not transfer it into the fallopian tube, you put it inside the uterus. Now in this case, you call this intrauterine transfer. Intrauterine, inside the uterus you are transferring. So if the embryo has more than 8 blastomeres, it is placed in the uterus for implantation and further development. So only fertilization is happening outside, and rest everything is inside. Can be done using gametes from either the couples or the donor. Suppose the gametes are not being produced, they are not able to, female and the male who are coming to undergo this process, they are not able to produce the gametes by themselves. Then basically it can be taken from other donors as well. Okay, sperm and the egg donors as well. I hope that's clear. So this is zygote and embryo transfer, and the most asked question is, in zygote intrafallopian tube, do you just transfer zygote or embryo also? Embryo, but up to only 8 blastomeres. Okay, 8 cell stage. Beyond that, it is intrauterine transfer. Do not get confused with intrauterine devices. Okay, that is what you put inside the uterus, the device what you put inside the uterus. It is intrauterine transfer, it's a process. Okay, ma'am, got it. Now we have the second process, that is gift. Gift as in, one female is giving another female a gift. What is this gift? Gamete. Suppose there is a female X who is not able to produce the gametes, but there is a female Y who is having enough amount of great gametes out there, that is the ovum out there. But this female X have every other thing, that is a perfect uterus for fertilization and for implantation to happen and everything to happen. So female thinks that, okay, just give me the gametes, that will be fine. Rest, everything is okay. Naturally, fertilization is going to happen within the female's body only. Just that she was not able to produce viable eggs. That was the problem, right? Now, if the egg is directly put, egg usually waits where? Fallopian tube, right? So if egg is put inside the fallopian tube, the sperm, suppose it comes naturally, fertilization will be happening, and implantation can also happen later on. You get it? So fertilization happens inside the body, always remember, in the case of gift, and gift stands for gamete intrafallopian transfer. Here, ovum is collected from a donor, is transferred to the fallopian tube of a female who cannot produce egg by herself, but has a functional uterus for fertilization as well as development. So she has a uterus, functional uterus for the process, but what? There is she cannot produce ovum by herself. Got it? Fertilization happening inside the body. I hope that's clear. Now we have the third thing. What is this thing? Have you seen this? This is actually the egg, and this is basically an instrument that you use for transferring the sperm. So inside this you have the sperm. Okay, inside the small thing that is there, you have the sperm. You know, the largest cell in the case of female, it is the egg cell, right? So the sperm has been inserted inside the egg cell. This is known as, inside what? Inside means intra. Inside what? The cytoplasm. So intracytoplasmic sperm injection. This is known as ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So when I say that IVF is being done, okay, fertilization is being done. How it is being done? With the help of this only, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Take the egg, take the sperm, fuse it up. Okay, this is being done. Cool. Now, ICSI, as I said, it is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. A single sperm is directly injected into the ovum in a lab to facilitate fertilization to happen. So this is like a step which was there for IVF to happen, in vitro fertilization to happen. You can think like that. Now you have the last one, which is AI. AI, that is not artificial intelligence. This is artificial insemination. Insemination means you are going to put semen inside the body. Insemination as in putting the semen inside the body. Now again, it can be a donor sperm that you can take, or basically the parent sperm also. Now you can put it directly inside the vagina and it can travel through. That can happen. You call it broadly as artificial insemination. Now if you're specifically putting it inside the uterus only, directly, okay, so this is the uterus, here you have the vagina, so here you can put it, or basically directly inside the uterus also. If at all you're inseminating artificially inside the uterus, this is known as intrauterine insemination. Inside the uterus, insemination. So semen from the husband or a healthy donor is introduced artificially into the female reproductive tract. It can be in the vagina or in the uterus, right? If you're directly putting inside the uterus, you have a name. Intrauterine insemination comes under AI only. Don't worry. A specialized form of AI where sperm is directly placed into the uterus, bypassing the cervix to improve chances of fertilization. Used in cases of low sperm count, poor sperm motility, or unexplained infertility. So suppose, as I said, there can be low sperm count, or the sperms which are there might not be moving really well. That can also be a reason. Okay, so this is it. That is artificial insemination. Under that you have IUI. So in total, how many? IVF, in vitro fertilization. After in vitro fertilization, you can do ZIFT or you can do IUT, intrauterine transfer. Right, and then you have GIFT also, another method, and then you have artificial insemination. Now for IVF to happen, you need to put the sperm inside the cytoplasm of the egg. That is known as ICSI. Okay, that is known as ICSI. That's all. And with that, we end up the chapter, but I have a question for you. In zygote intrafallopian tube transfer, the embryo up to stage is transferred into the fallopian tube. In zygote intrafallopian tube transfer, the embryo up to what stage is transferred into the fallopian tube? Up to 8 blastomere stage. Up to 8 blastomere stage. I told you, beyond that, not possible. Cool? And that's how we finished the chapter, Reproductive Health. I really hope that this chapter was helpful for you and my explanation was helpful for you. If it was, definitely do not forget to hit on the subscribe button, and definitely do not forget to let me know in the comment section as well. Okay, wishing you all the best. Please take care of yourselves, and if at all you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section. Be there for the live on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Bye-bye.